Made, the show where we believe you can grow to be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. That's right. Every Wednesday, we share tips to improve your physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual, financial, obviously, and your social health. Today, we are focusing on how to improve your social health regarding your best friend. If you have never seen our show before, this is Millionaires Are Made, the show built on the fundamental beliefs that every person you meet knows something you don't. And there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. Here at Millionaires Are Made, we're on a mission to teach the world how to grow into the healthiest, happiest millionaires in all 6 aspects of health. So we went out and got 3 awesome guests to give you 3 awesome tips on how to improve your social health regarding a best friend. In the spirit of authenticity, we don't talk about tips or advice before the show. We keep it as real as possible. And when our guests come on and share their advice, it's going to be our first time hearing it as well. Audience, if you are watching this right now, this is an interactive show. Feel free to comment, ask questions, whatever it is, we will ask them live or respond to them live. It's pretty cool. We're also going to take this time to do a quick little shout out for some of our followers. So you should also be a follower so I can shout you out too. On Facebook, Liam Austin, you rock. Instagram, Solana, you're the best. TikTok, Daniel Erz, we love you. And on YouTube, Kim Larson, you're even more the best. Couple things we're always looking for on the show is guests and topics. We love getting as many people as possible, sharing as much knowledge as possible, and therefore we need guests. If you want to be a guest, the link is being dropped right now. Just sign up and we will see if we can get you on a show. And if you have something you're going through, maybe spiritually you feel a little lost, maybe your bank account is empty, whatever it is, shoot us a topic. We will do our best to find 3 guests to give you 3 awesome tips to get you through that hump in life. Yeehaw! Merchandise is now available, like this cool shirt we have. If you want yours, that link's being dropped right now. And we also, I love doing free growth sessions. If you would like one of those, we're dropping the link for that. I'd love to talk to you one-on-one. And now that we got all the business out of the way, last thing is last. This episode is sponsored by Sarah Jones, who used to be buried in debt and a failing marriage. Sarah is now a financial coach that travels the U.S. in an RV with her husband and guides couples, individuals, and small businesses to build fun, healthy money habits. You should go check her out if you have any money issues at all. Sarah can help you. Next up, we have Biz Buy Right, the matchmaking service for people who love buying and selling businesses, which is super popular now. We have a lot of boomers that are selling all their businesses in a huge wealth transfer. So this is a great business right now to go check out. They find cash flowing deals, vet them with AI wizardry, and connect buyers and sellers faster than you can say due diligence. Next, we have Brian Piranha. This is for all you men out there. Husband, father of 4, and founder of The Call to Rise, helping busy men reclaim their health, energy, and confidence through simple, sustainable systems that fit real life. And our final sponsor is, if you want to get your brand, is Brian Wright. If you want to get your brand in front of high-level entrepreneurs and personal growth leaders, reach out to Brian at the Ultimate Achievers magazine, where industry icons meet a content-first audience. And looks like I messed up. This episode is actually physical health transformation. And so we will not be talking about social health. Oopsies. We'll be talking about physical health. So we will be bringing out our first guest here, which will be Coach Rob. Coach Rob, tell us, who are you?
My name is Coach Rob. I am a 10-year Navy veteran, former police officer of 18 years, and I help men 30 and over get unstuck in their life through fitness, mindset, and discipline.
Fantastic. Fitness, mindset, and discipline. All right, Coach Rob, I've got an important question for you. If I wanted to improve my physical health with a transformation, what tiny tip would you give me?
The tiny tip that I would give you is really simple. Have a non-negotiable. Create something that's non-negotiable in your life and stick to that, but keep it simple. Just go for a walk 30 minutes a day. Start there and you would believe the amount of health changes you would see just doing something as simple as that.
Can you give us some more examples of some other non-negotiables?
So for me, fitness, obviously, that's the cornerstone of my coaching. It's huge in my life. My non-negotiable is I'm going to work out at least 3 days a week, and I'm going to get it done first thing in the morning. So as soon as I get up, the first place I'm headed before I do anything, before I check my phone, emails, talk to the wife, anything, is get to the gym and get that work in.
All right. What's the smallest non-negotiable that you could possibly have?
Smallest, for me or for anybody that wants to level up their game, even from a fitness perspective, don't check your phone. Don't get on that doom scroll immediately first thing you wake up. Do something else. Practice meditation, journal, do something before you start going down that wormhole of the social media.
Well, there goes that. All right, Coach Rob, tell us where in your life journey you learned this advice.
So, as a veteran and former police officer, I stacked a lot of trauma on my life, on my body, and just being placed that I was stuck and negative and hurt and angry all the time. I had to find something to get me out of that negative insanity loop. And for me, that was the fitness, mindset, and discipline. Fitness, taking care of my overall health as far as mental health, emotional health, physical health, my nutrition, the mindset, journaling, practicing gratitude, doing those things that get me in a positive mindset instead of a negative mindset. And then the discipline just to keep doing it and keep going, because motivation is BS. It's discipline over everything.
What are some of your non-negotiables?
Like I said, fitness first. After that, drinking a gallon of water a day,
Nice.
walking at least 15 to 30 minutes a day. Always practicing gratitude, always, 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 even when I don't feel like it, because sometimes my mental health is still bad, but being thankful for the things and opportunities that I have in my life.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Coach Rob. We're going to move on to our next guest real quick, and we'll bring you out for the round robin. Sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
Next up, we have Elizabeth. Elizabeth, tell us, who are you?
My name is Elizabeth Meigs. I am a transformational coach, also known as the Miracle Power Empowerment Coach, speaker, best-selling author, founder of Elizabeth Inspires. I have been practicing as an occupational therapist for the last 13 years, and being able to provide strategies to strengthen my patients as well as my clients and empower them to overcome the difficult challenges that we see every day in the world today, leaving us in burnout, stressed, exhausted, overwhelmed, and, like Rob said, feeling stuck.
I love it. Well, I need a tip from you. Like, if I wanted to improve my physical health regarding a transformation from a transformation coach, tell us a tiny piece of advice you would recommend.
The transformation begins from within. It's a heart transformation. As Rob mentioned, gratitude, trying to find those small joys in your life every single day. Once you start focusing on those, that's going to grow, because what you focus on grows. When you're always looking to the negative, that's all you're ever going to see. You have to learn how to reframe and shift your perspective if you want to learn how to live open to all of life's possibilities.
Fantastic. Where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
25 years ago, at the age of 14, after I suffered a traumatic brain injury that left me fighting for my life, I lost absolutely everything. I was angry. I was bitter. I knew everything would be easier if I was no longer here, but it was through me on my knees crying out to God and asking him why he did this to me, that he overwhelmed me with comfort, love, and peace, everything that I needed and was lacking in that moment. And he said, I have a plan for you. You can't stop. You have to keep going. From then on, I consistently prayed one prayer, no matter what, every single night. Thank you, God, for my life. Thank you for my blessings. I was thanking him for that promise. I didn't know how and I didn't know when, but I knew one day he was going to turn it all around. And that day is today. That's why I'm still here.
Fantastic. Love it, Elizabeth. All right, we'll move on to our next guest and bring you out for the round robin. Next up, we have Kenny. Kenny, tell us, who are you?
Well, I'm Kenny Sexton. I've been married for 33 years to my lovely wife. We have 3 kids and we have 6 grandkids. And so we hope we have a couple more coming. Not yet, but hopefully they'll be here soon. But I've been in leadership for the last 35 years. And so I help lead organizations from disconnection to direction so they can overflow with impact in the organizations. But I lead leaders and other organizations to really have an impact on life.
I love it. Wow. And congrats on 30 plus years. Holy cow. Kenny, I got an important question for you. If I wanted to improve my physical health with a transformation, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
One thing that I would say is margin. Margin comes in a lot of different forms. There's got to be a little bit of white space in your calendar. We can talk about a lot of different things in margin. Margin, you got to have to invest in your health. Okay, so if you want to invest in your health, you've got to put a little margin in it and stick to it. But I'm going to shift it a little bit. I think margin comes from this, and I'm going to say significant relational deposits are made in the margin of your life. Relationships bring about health more than you think it does. You want to talk about getting physically healthier. Having some good, solid, valuable relationships in your life is a healthy thing.
All right. Some good, solid, healthy relationships. Tell us more about what you mean by margin.
Okay, I'll tell you this. So margin means we are so driven and busy. Like we're at it. We're on the grind. We're pushing. We're trying to get to whatever that is, that desired outcome that we're looking for every single day. But sometimes we don't have that margin. We don't put aside time that's very intentional and time that we can say, okay, like I've got on the calendar, I'm going to talk to Austin today. Like we're going to have lunch. We're going to go talk. We're going to do this. Because what I found out through some research, did you know that loneliness or disconnection with people is equivalent to smoking 15 packs of cigarettes a day? That's how unhealthy not having the margin for relationships in your life is. So what does that look like? Be intentional. Put on the calendar every single day before you go to bed and during the week, I'm going to be around some of those specific relationships, whether it be working out. I've got a workout buddy that I go with, or if it's somebody that I just need to get on the phone call with, get on Zoom, and people that can help grow me, help sharpen me, but just develop those good, solid relationships. If you end up in this drifting pattern, because you never drift to a desired destination, if you drift from this and don't have margin in your life, then you become lonely, and it becomes a very much a big health issue. Like I said, it's like smoking 15 packs of cigarettes a day, and that's a study that's out there today.
Man, I'm gonna have to read that study. That's crazy. All right, where on your life journey did you learn this piece of advice?
Well, in 2023, 2 years ago, I suffered a stroke. So as I was able to go back and look at my life, and I'm faced with the fact that today is my last day on the planet, what was important to me? Was it that I could clock out this day, or that I had to go get more business done or more clients to talk to, whatever else? What was really important? And I look back throughout my life to say, okay, what margin that I put into to really pour into my wife, to pour into my kids, to see my grandkids, the people that I love in my life. So those relationships that are there, that was so important. So when you're faced with that moment, the doctor tells you you've had a stroke equivalent to a widowmaker heart attack. And if you'd have been asleep, chances are you wouldn't be here today. When you hear those words, you have a choice. The choice is, and then as you reflect back, what have I done throughout my life that's meaningful, that's important, that's going to leave a lasting legacy with the people that I know? Margin came front and center. Margin's important. The people that I spend time with, am I going to put my work above the people that I love and that I spend time with? Am I going to put other things a priority in? So that's what margin looks like. That's what really taught me that when you're faced with a near-death experience, it does put things in a different perspective.
All right. Well, Kenny, we're going to bring everyone else out and start the round robin now. Let's see what everyone else has to say. So we'll start with Coach Rob. Audience, this is a great time for you to ask questions as well. Feel free to do that. Otherwise, let's start with Coach Rob. Can you quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
So my tip was have non-negotiables in your life that no matter what, you're going to do those to help you stay accountable and build those healthy habits over the bad habits.
Elizabeth, what are your thoughts on his tip?
Definitely. You've got to, it takes being able to be willing to do the hard stuff, the stuff that you don't necessarily want to do, to be able to maintain the best version of yourself. When you step into that best version of yourself, like what Kenny said, relationships, stepping into that best version of yourself allows alignment with people that help you to be the best version of you, alignment with who you were created to be, so that you have the right doors opening in front of you and you can learn how to identify them, to walk through them, to succeed in whatever areas of life you want to succeed in.
I love that. Kenny, you got any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I mean that's so solid, because I think we really we're younger, we're growing up, we really get out of the house. I mean, like I grew up in an era where we were out of the house. Like I had to hear my mom tell me something that said when she used all three of my names, like I knew it was serious business, right? I mean, I could hear those things echo even today. My mother passed away in 2020, but I can still hear her those three. When she says Kenneth Wayne, I mean, she's yelling. I mean, I knew I was in trouble. But getting your bodies moving, making it a priority, because once we get to a certain place in our life, it seems like we slow down because we don't take care of our body. And the physical health, it just helps our mental health. It helps us get clarity in our brain. We know that from scientific studies as well. But when we start moving, we can think better. We have clarity that we can navigate through the day better. And it's good that you got that as a priority. Those are non-negotiables. And when you let those non-negotiables go, I say this phrase, this is kind of something, what's in the well comes in the bucket. So you have to know the well and you have to own the bucket. And what happens is we get to a place in our health that we go, well, it's just the way it is, man. I'm going to have that dad bod. I'm just going to have that dad. It ain't going to matter. No matter, I can't do these things. But that shows up in the bucket, because in that well, you've got to replace that thing with truth. And you got to say, I need my health so I can be here for my family. I need my health so I can be better for the organization that I lead and for my friends. And him saying that, hey, this is a non-negotiable. Many people, they need to lean into that, because they lose that later on. And I'll say this for somebody that almost lost my life due to stroke. When you don't have it anymore is when you'll do it. I love what somebody said. It says we spend all of our time losing our health, only to find out that we'll spend everything we've got from our wealth to get our health back. If you'll stick to what Rob's advice was, man, you'll be in good shape.
I love it. Great response. Elizabeth, can you refresh what your tip was for us?
It starts from within. You have to be willing to be the transformation that you want to see. When our minds are in the negative, in the gutter, and we don't see that positive, then our bodies reflect that. We don't feel like getting up and working out. So we have to be willing to make that shift on the inside to learn how to reframe in order to be able to keep going, so that we do feel like getting up and doing what we need to physically for physical transformation.
All right, Kenny, we're going to go back to you and have your response for that.
Yeah, I mean, your belief system's so strong, isn't it, Elizabeth? I mean, believing that. I mean, I'll tell you what, it can't go on a feeling. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't get up every morning and go, well, I feel like going to work out. I feel like getting on the treadmill and putting in my 45 minutes. I just don't feel like it today. But I believe that so strongly that I know that if I do, I will feel better the rest of the day, because it's tried and true. It'll make me feel better inside. It's better for my body. It's better for everybody around me as well. So I think that belief has to be really, really strong. And so don't go on emotion, go on belief.
love it. I love it. Coach Rob, what's your response to her tip?
I agree 1,000,000%. I mean, if you can't love yourself or learn to love yourself, how can you love anyone else? How can you be a better husband, a better father? And from all the trauma, depression, all the stuff I went through in my life, I hated myself, and not because I was a horrible person. I just didn't know how to emotionally regulate. And once I started figuring out how to love myself through the things I do, the fitness, the mindset, the discipline, these changes that we can make, my mental health issues didn't go away. And I tell everybody this when I tell my story or I talk, but I'm 1% better every day. And if I have more good days than bad, that's the mission. So you have to fight that battle within to say that I am good enough. I am strong enough. I can do this. I can survive or thrive, not just survive. And starting from within is the only way. You can't really do anything unless you love yourself first.
Very true. Very true. All right, Kenny, refresh what your tip was for us, please.
It was just margin, because margin multiplies relationships, and without it, it multiplies regrets.
All right, Elizabeth, what are your thoughts?
Margin is how we take care of ourselves. Because, like he said, when we're pushing, we don't have any time for ourselves. When we don't allow ourselves times to do the things that we love, pursue our passions, that increases the stress, that increases the anxiety. We don't feel like getting out and working out. So by allowing margin, again, alignment, being able to maintain that resilience so that we can thrive and continue doing what we have to do to be that best version of us, that's the only way life is going to get easier. In the beginning, it's going to be hard. We're not going to want to do it. But I've learned from my brain injury, from my recovery, from relearning how to do everything again, as we continue to put one step in front of the other, that grows our confidence. That continues to grow our clarity, our courage. That's what builds resilience so that we can thrive in every aspect of our lives.
That's good.
Coach Rob, what are your thoughts on Kenny's margin tip?
I love what he said. I think relationships are very super important. And from being a men's coach, and not just to like harp on men, but men that don't have that tribe, it's a very lonely, dangerous, scary thing. Whether you're a veteran, first responder, or just a man in general, we need friends. And as we get older, I'm 47 years old. I'm realizing the value of a good friendship, a good brother, a brotherhood where I can reach out to somebody if I have a bad day and they're not going to judge me. They're going to be in my corner and push me to get through that pain point that I'm facing. So I think, if you feel like you're alone and you feel kind of like you don't belong anywhere, find that tribe, find that place where you fit in, and learn to get out of that comfort zone to make friends and be available to other people, because it's just going to enrich your life.
Man, I love it. All right. Physical health. We talked a lot about a lot of other things. Transformation, I guess. How do you guys define a transformation?
For me, I guess it's just peeling back those layers, right? Like, to date my age, if you talk about like Shrek, which is a classic kids movie, that he talks about ogres being like onions and having layers, right? You have to peel back each layer until you get to that very center of what you're going through and build back better, right? Like, you can always get in shape, you can always lose weight, you can always build a business. You just have to have the mindset to be able to focus on that and work on that a little bit every day, and realize that the main thing of whatever I tell everybody, whether it's dealing with trauma, becoming the best version of yourself, staying in shape, anything worth doing takes time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So realize that once you go all in, you have to be all in for the long haul. If not, you're just going to give up and you're going to end up feeling worse than you did when you went on this journey.
Yeah. Transformation like you said, peeling back the layers. I like to ask my clients, I want you to think back to your younger years. What were those dreams? What was it that happened in your life that made you believe that you couldn't make them a reality? Go back to that place, peel back those layers of the anxiety, the depression, the overwhelm, the stress. And as you start peeling those layers back and getting back to your identity, who you were created to be, that's when real transformation occurs. We were all created, equipped to overcome any life circumstance, any obstacle that we will ever face in our lives. It comes down to belief and a willingness to make the hard choices to do what we need to do to get back to that.
Yeah, I think transformation for me is like we've talked about this. The most important step is your next step, and the transformation part of it is it's not that I don't have the thoughts, but I'm now no longer doing what I used to do. Like I've gotten to a place where now the habit has changed, the renewing of my mind has changed. Now I'm not doing what I used to do. I'm now been transformed to do the things that I've been believing in and thinking of and moving forward in step by step to now that it's just second nature. I'm moving in a new direction with that.
All right, guys, it has come to the point in the show where we need to come up with a daily challenge. This is something that takes less than 5 minutes a day, costs $0, is available to anyone in the world to help us improve our physical health with a transformation. What thoughts do you guys have?
For me, it's prayer. When I was in my recovery, the rest at night, I could never rest. Prayer and thankfulness, gratitude in that prayer. So writing down 3 things that you're grateful for every day, focusing on that as you begin to do that. Now, early on, I didn't write them down. If I had written them down, I'm sure it would have happened a lot quicker. But I at least spoke them. So writing them down, that's going to help you to be able to begin seeing those things, more things to be grateful for. That's going to help you to keep moving and transforming.
What else we have?
Go ahead, Kenny. I'll take the rear on this one.
I'm just going to just reiterate the relationship part of it again. And I would say one thing to do is who are you going to add value to today? Who's the one person that needs to hear either your story or that you need to share with, that they can take a tip, that because we know when we share things, we grow and we begin to morph and transform and change. But who is it that needs that tip, like that tip today and tomorrow? Who is it that I can share with and not be afraid of that? Because that one person may be the one person that's on the other side of your yes, that's waiting to hear what you got to say. They can help them in their physical journey, their mental state, whatever that is. You never know without that story, without having that contact and that conversation with somebody else.
For me, guys, I would say to the community, remember what's funny is the most simplest things are what always seem to work. So like, don't try to get crazy in the noise of trying to learn something new or figuring out how to do something. I love what Elizabeth said about gratitude. I can't tell you how many times I was on a downward spiral mentally, and just taking that breath and thinking about what I was thankful for and realizing that my life really isn't that bad brought me out of that darkness multiple times. But a practical application that has worked for me, and this is rudimented in military and being a police officer: time blocking. Write down a schedule and stick to it. So everybody has 24 hours in a day. We all spend that time differently. If you say, I don't have time to the gym, I'm going to tell you every time you're wrong. You have 10 minutes to go for a walk. You have 30 minutes to go to the gym. There is no excuse. It's just you don't want to do it. So time block for me is huge. Writing down 6 a.m., go to the gym. Even if I have to get as very detailed and say, okay, 7 a.m. first meal, 8 a.m. homework, 9, it works. It sounds stupid and it's tedious sometimes, but time blocking has given me more time freedom than if I just go through life trying to figure out what I'm going to do day to day.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, that wraps up the end of our episode. Thank you all so much. I'm going to put you all backstage and finish it up. Thanks, Elizabeth and Kenny, Coach Rob, and thank you, audience. Hopefully, you guys had a great time learning about physical health, not so.